Ah, well, good afternoon. I was wondering, is it in the morning or is it in the afternoon? Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Tumi Tladi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today it's Tuesday, the 13th of July, 2021. Time is 24 minutes before 2 p.m. Right, so what are we doing today? Let's look at our list. Because this is a continuation of a version control series. So we did cover this yesterday, so let's mark it as done. Wait, not that one. So we did overview of a version control, where we look at what is a version control or what is a source control, aka Git. Today we're gonna do services. We're gonna look at GitHub and Azure DevOps. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, before I do that, this is a list we're going to talk about. Before I do that, just to recap on what I was doing before I started to record this session, it's that today as the 13th, I've been busy doing something. So this is like a mini type of a series when it comes to version control. And then there's a document called the version update. We did cover this document. It's also on the list. It's something that I want to talk about. Where is it? Version updates folder. Please stay tuned for this document. What's the purpose of this document? Because no one else is doing this except for me, having this document called the version updates. In almost all my projects, there is this document. So this is the work I've been doing. We also want to be talking about the commit messages. As you can see, well, I removed them, but we're going to talk about commit messages. Commit messages. Where is it? Commit messages. Now, we're also going to be talking about the branches, because currently I'm on core_MVC branch, and then I'm about to move from this branch to now master branch. We'll talk about this, and there's a git changes tab. We're also going to be talking about it. So as I move from core now to master is 0, and then those changes have disappeared. So we'll talk about that, and then this process of merging the changes from core_MVC branch now to master branch. Let's give it a second. I'm merging. We'll talk about this because it's also on the list, something I'm gonna be covering. Currently what I'm doing, I'm taking the changes that that I made on the basis of the work that I was doing previously, because I was continuing this series of SMS API project where I have now integrated in .NET Core MVC project, right? So I'm done. And then also this process of having to push, we're also going to be covering, because right now they're moving from my local machine to the cloud. That process is local versus remote. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about push. So I'm just giving you a sneak peek on what to expect. So as they're going right now, which is good. There we go. They're being pushed to GitHub, and then also I pushed them to Azure DevOps. Okay, then that's it. I'm done with Visual Studio. So let's talk about the services. The first one is GitHub. The second one is Azure DevOps. That's what we're covering today, which is video number 2 on this series, services. So there are multiple services. There is, I think, GitLab. Like GitHub and Azure DevOps are not only the places where you can have your repositories online. Currently, these repositories, they live locally, but you can also have repositories online. But I'm only using 2 services for version control, which is GitHub and also Azure DevOps in parallel, because I don't rely on one service. What happens when it goes down? Because remember, after Microsoft has acquired GitHub faced these services being offline, the changes of services being offline for some time. Right now, I think after that series, after that period of GitHub going offline, it has never gone offline. And Azure DevOps, I think, has never gone offline. Well, yeah, I believe so. So, my internet, it's quite slow because I'm using my slower internet. It's the one I'm using during the day. But I also have a faster internet connectivity, but I'm hoping that this guy will go up eventually because it's still going up to Azure DevOps. Okay. Now, this is these guys. But what I want to do, I want to launch and fire up a GitHub when I'm not signed in. I'm also wanting to do the same thing for Azure DevOps when I'm not signed in, and we'll talk about this. Okay, so, but before I do that, there we go. It moved here from my local machine now to Azure DevOps. So I don't need this guy. We are done. So let me close the Visual Studio so this machine can be a bit faster. Okay, so let me now go to private window of Firefox. There we go. And then let's type in github.com. And we also want to type in, it's called dev.azure.com. So this is the URL for Azure DevOps. So GitHub, when I'm not signed in, when I'm not logged in, this is how it looks like. There we go. So a cool thing about, because I was thinking about the content that I need to put together for this series of version control, is that now what happens when you just fired up github.com, you know. Oh, by the way, a disclaimer, I'm not an expert of version control or source control. I'm not an expert. I'm an expert as far as identical docs goes. I'm not hired by GitHub or Azure DevOps to market their services or to market this product, no. So I'm not going to talk about what happens on marketplace, the price. I'm not going to do any of those things. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. This is in the context of my system called Identical Docs and my future systems that I'm going to be building, because there's a new one I'm currently busy with, a new system. So with that being said, now this is how it looks like. You can read all the stuff that you need to read, you know. Yeah, but I'm not going to get into that. So yeah, cool. So this is how it looks like. The reason why I'm doing this is that a cool thing is you can search GitHub when you're not online. Let's search GitHub itself. Is GitHub on GitHub? Let's see. GitHub. So this is a cool thing about GitHub. So I'm curious to know about Azure DevOps. Does it do the same thing? I'm pretty much curious about it. So yes, GitHub, we have searched and then we found the over 6 million available repositories. And then these are public repositories. We will talk about public and private repository. There we go. I've scheduled to be video number 6. We're going to be talking about that. What are these things? What is a repository? And then all of these things are public. They're on a public platform, right? Because if something is private, it's not accessible. So, okay. Now, in Azure DevOps, this is how it looks like when you are not signed in. Okay, funny thing is you cannot search. That's a weird thing. You cannot search. Okay, now let me do my job, my proper job. I just want to show you that GitHub is flexible in this, sense that you can search. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, you can read about why GitHub. They support Teams. They also have enterprise. You can explore. You can look at certain things. GitHub education, community forum. Okay, and then the prices. You can look at the prices. Okay, this is weird. Why is it? Only then it will disappear. Okay, it's nice, but it doesn't make sense. Anyway, cool. So this is GitHub. They claim to have a 65+ million developers, 3+ million organizations, 200+ million repositories, 72% Fortune 50. Interesting. Okay. Give your code a home in the cloud. Okay. Obviously, because I said my internet it's a bit slower. But GitHub, I know it's a place where you can collaborate. Oh, by the way, GitHub has an app on Apple Store, App Store, because I have downloaded the app. I use it mainly on my iPad. It looks good. I love what they did because I'm a developer, so I loved what they did. These people, fantastic stuff, cool. Yeah, I'm waiting for certain things to pop up. I've been seeing this thing of code spaces. I wonder what it does, because in Visual Studio I saw code spaces. The feature of code is in the cloud, not your local copy. Code spaces gives you a complete configurable dev environment on top of a powerful VM in minutes. Interesting. I didn't know this. Okay. Visual Studio Code in your browser, full stop. Really? And then you can automate GitHub Actions. I'll probably come back to GitHub Actions, but I don't use GitHub Actions. But we'll talk about CI and CD. I've scheduled to, yes, here it is, CI and CD pipelines. That's when we'll probably talk about GitHub Actions. So yeah, there's a lot here to look at. And we'll talk about the security in these cloud platforms, because there's a use case for that, especially this part, keep your secrets. We'll talk about that one. Okay, yeah. In Azure DevOps, now, Azure DevOps is big. It's bigger than GitHub, funny enough. It's big, because here's the thing about GitHub. Remember, like I said, I'm not getting paid to talk about this. This is how I believe based on my research, but I didn't do the research prior recording this video, no. But remember, I searched, right, GitHub, and then you saw about more than 6 million public repositories. Those are public repositories. Most of these organizations, companies, or even individuals, they also use GitHub, but integrating it with Azure DevOps. I don't know if I'm making sense. I know particularly with Microsoft as an organization. Microsoft for sure, this platform called Azure, it's on Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps itself, it's on Azure DevOps. And then what else? I think they said Office, it's running on Azure DevOps. What is this thing? Power BI, if you know Power BI, it's on Azure DevOps. That's what Microsoft team said on in multiple videos on Channel 9. Please Google Channel 9, okay? So they rely on Azure bots. So I want to spend time on Azure DevOps more than GitHub. Now, Azure bots deliver value to your users faster using proven agile tools to plan, track, and discuss work across your teams. I've seen where they're showing how they use Azure bots for one of their products or services like Office, Power BI. Okay. Now I've used the Azure pipelines. I'm also going to be continue to use Azure pipelines for identical docs. Obviously, Azure repos, I'll show this right now. And Azure test plans, I haven't used it. Azure artifacts, after based on pipelines, you can go to artifacts. Yeah, that's it. But this one's incredible. I've seen people using it. It's incredible. It's incredible. Azure pipelines, yes, I'll make a video for it. This one, back and forth, because we're gonna look at that one in a second. Test plans, I've never used it. Artifacts, you can go and look at your, artifacts. Okay, and there's a multiple extension. Yes, So these are services when I'm not signed in, okay? But when I'm signed in, this is how GitHub looks like, okay? Now, overview is gonna show you, I like how they do it, popular repositories. Now we'll talk about this guy. This guy is a public repository. Also, this one is a public repository, but I don't care about this one. I was experimenting something from CUT while I was on campus. And then, but the private repository, they don't show, but I'll do that. And then here it will show you contributions in the last year. I have 1,613, and it will show you, based on the months. Like there was a time when I wasn't working. This was school. School was demanding here and here. It's only now that since I started this YouTube channel that I've been making some changes and fixing some bugs. As you can see, activity overview. I've been contributing to Identical Dogs. As you can see, 12 minutes ago we posted something live, and then I'm also working on my new system called C versus C. Also, I'm doing something, as you can see, 3 hours ago. I did some changes, and then GBSS also, and other repositories. So you can also show that I push. I don't do code review, I don't do issues, I don't do pull request, not yet. And then it will show you also contribution activity. So GitHub is powerful in this sense. It can show you, if you are doing an interview without giving those people that interview access to your GitHub, especially private repository, you can just show them stuff like this. You can also see more activities like July, 32 commits on C versus C, 30 commits on that Identical Dogs, and in June, this is what I was doing also. SMS API, I was doing some work 13 days ago, so it's interesting. And you can keep on doing that. Oh, I want to show something about this. When did I create a GitHub account? It was in 2019. It was January when I created my GitHub account. I just remember something it's a fun fact. And also, if you're a lazy developer, it will show something like this. My Flurry has no activity during this period. If you're a lazy developer, what were you doing? But also it can show you stuff like this. Like, this is very interesting. There we go. I joined on the 12th of January 2019. That's when I joined GitHub. And then this is where I was teaching myself Git web application MVC, no identity. This repo is intended for working with Azure DevOps with hopefully CI and CD pipelines. That was me. And then Spy 8 when I create the project for the first time. Yes. So I like seeing stuff like this. First repository, Git console app 1, and then my first pull request. And I was testing out. That's how I taught myself this thing. Open first pull request on a friend of mine, Wise Man, and then as in the Git guide, So this one I taught myself a Swagger. So Swagger web API with identity template with empty, So this is why I taught myself .NET Core the very first time, and then this is why I taught myself a Xamarin with Xamarin images, And this where I was working on CUT's third year IT project. So yeah, it's a fantastic. Here you can see your repositories. Okay, I'll come to this one. Let me do GitHub first. So you can write something about yourself, upload a profile picture. You can put in some stuff here. Put in your URL, social media. Interesting. So this is all my repositories. I will talk about the private and public repo, and then this is fantastic. We also want to explore this when we do a video. I believe it's the next video. Who uses these services? Like who uses GitHub and also who uses Azure DevOps? So we're also going to take a look at that. I think that's it. If I have any packages that it will show, but I do not have any packages. Yes, I don't have any packages. Yeah. But people do create these packages. Okay, I don't have projects because I don't like putting stuff, for public. Yeah. Now, Azure DevOps. this Azure DevOps, these are called organizations. You can add organizations, you can group them nicely. Also in GitHub, you can do that. So this is identical docs where I'm gonna add another project. I'm still thinking about it. It's gonna be email API. So it's gonna be .NET Core web API project like this one. SMS API is a .NET Core project. Now the email API project is gonna be a project where any application that I build is gonna utilize if I need to send email, you know. So yeah. Okay, so and then Tumi Tladi, because I like to group them based on these guys. Okay, and I see now my theme has changed, which is interesting, where a new system I'm building, I can't put a readme. We'll talk about the readme. This description, in fact, it should be a readme. Yeah, we will talk about the readme file. Yes. Okay, so these are organizations, and then for identical docs, let's get inside. And then you can create a new project. We'll create a new project later on. And then I like what they did here. If you hover, you can just quickly go to the boards, repos, pipelines, tests, and artifacts. But I can get inside the project. Like I said, I'm not doing this thing to market these services. I'm doing it in the context of my current system, which is identical docs. Cool. So let's give it a couple of seconds to load. Okay, what else can we look at here while that one is spinning? Oh, plus you can create a new repo. I've never done just like I said, you can also do organization, but I've done new project. And then here you can look at your notifications, and then here you can do your account management stuff. Yeah, especially the settings. Please play around with the settings. Okay, identical docs, come on. Okay, so now after that, I think after the readme file, we're gonna go to Git in Visual Studio. Yeah, let's do that. It's gonna be video number 8 that we're gonna be making. This is my milestone or my roadmap. And after that, no, the branches, no. We should start with the branches first. After creating a project. No, after the readme file, we'll talk about the branches. Because by default, it gives you master branch. Yeah, so this one should be video number 8. And this one should be video number 9. I'm doing this because I was waiting for Azure DevOps to continue to load it behind the scenes or in the background. Okay, so we do the readme file, the branches, and we're gonna come now to Git in Visual Studio. Okay, so this is the summary. Now this project info, okay, you can add it. Last 7 days, last 30 days. I haven't. We'll do pull request also. You can add the members. I've done so, where you invite somebody, you know, and it's a private repo. And yeah, so this is where now the overview. Okay, we're on the current overview. Okay, and then boards. Okay, while that continues to spin, let's do this. And what's next? Or how do you create a new branch, right? Okay, so I don't have anything in here. Yeah, but basically you can do this yourself. I don't need to get into the depth of this thing. You can do it yourself. The one I'm excited about is this one, the pipeline, especially for the mobile application. I did that in GitHub, but not GitHub. I'm lying, in App Center. But I want to do CI and CD in Azure DevOps. I'm still gonna do that, and I'm excited about it. I am excited. I'm excited. But this is part of CI and CD pipeline. So these are the mini videos for this series, you know, where I just focus on one particular thing and one thing only. what pipelines in your region may be impacted by a live site incident resulting in possible pipeline delays, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So please do check them out. And then, but yeah, I hope you found this video informative. This video, it's, yeah, or should I say the series, it's gonna be incredible. Yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Thank you. Bye.